All right, I think we're going to kick it off. So hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Taylor Gaffney. I'm the Director of Customer Experience here at Denim Social. And my main goal is to help you get value out of Denim Social and social media. And that's why we're here today. We've got a holiday treat for all of you. I've brought on some really special guests to chat with us about their social selling programs and how they drive user engagement on social media and in Denim Social. So, you know, who better to talk about driving engagement than our admins that spend their days driving their strategies and really a lot of time in Denim Social to really drive that social selling program. So before we start introducing them, just a few housekeeping items. We're going to answer questions throughout the call, so please don't be shy. We want this to be very conversational, so if you ask questions, we want to answer them right away. We really want to just you to get a lot out of this. We're also going to have some polls throughout the whole thing because we want to hear from you. We want to know what you guys are doing. And then lastly, we're recording this, so we'll send out a video after the call. We'll also have a few resources that you can take back and hopefully implement into your strategy. So without further ado, let's introduce our special guests. All right, Allison, you're on the left. Let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Dickinson, and I'm the social media specialist here at AnnieMac. I started at AnnieMac a little over a year ago, but I'm one of the admins on our Denim Social account. I'm here to help with any of our Denim Social and social media needs that come up from day 1 to day 1000 plus. We're always trying to help our loan originators build their digital footprint on social media and help with their social selling.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Allison. Amy, why don't you go next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Leonard, and I am a digital marketing specialist with Johnson Financial Group. I have been with Johnson Financial Group for about 6 years, and we have had our partnership with Denim for about a year and a half now. So in my role, I manage our brand social media pages on a day-to-day basis, and I also help lead our Denim Social program for our associates.
Awesome. Thank you for being here as well. And then last but definitely not least, Seth.
Howdy, everyone. I'm Seth Reeks. I'm the digital marketing coordinator here at Evolve Bank and Trust, and I manage our corporate social media pages as well as some of our other digital assets, but I handle scheduling on Denim and our entire user base in Denim, including our mortgage salespeople, as well as some of our other divisions and their sales teams.
Amazing. Thank you guys again so much for being here. You know, it's one thing for us to go through different strategies, but it's another thing to have some of our best customers with their best social selling programs out here talking about what they do every day and how they make their program better. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And I'm really excited to get this kicked off. All right, so there's a lot to talk about today. So we're gonna get right into it. All right, so before we get started, I kind of want to set the stage because a lot of our customers have very different posting strategies based on their objectives. So I know there's a lot going on the slide, but it's kind of a combination of different things, marketing posting and associates posting. So if marketing posts for the brand page or a group of associates, they can put posts in the content library. Maybe associates can post their own posts or just use the content library posts. And something that we're seeing more and more, and what the panelists are going to talk a little bit about today, is leveraging the regional teams to help post on behalf of their associates and really create some engaging content to engage their users further. I'm going to start with you, Allison. Can you give us a little idea of your content and distribution strategy at AnnieMac?
Of course. So we post directly onto our corporate pages, but we also are working on posting onto our branch team and LO pages. We are adding content to our content library. You can see in some of the items included in the slide, but almost now on a daily basis. It started with monthly, but we're just building it out as much as we can. So we have all of our company content being added, our company blog posts, holiday posts, and we try to supply different versions for our users to use. And just so everybody's posts aren't looking the same. We're also adding folders and changing some of the privacy settings on there. So just those teams can access their team folders. So they can access all of their assets and they don't have to worry about it being seen anywhere else. We are also in the process of launching our auto posting program. So our loan originators can enroll. It's completely opt-in, opt-out. They just have to fill out a quick survey. They get plugged into one of our tier systems and they will have all of their posts automatically shared on socials for them through Denim Social.
I love that. That's so exciting. So Allison, can you tell us a little bit more? So you're working on building out that auto post program right now, or it's already started?
Yes, so we actually have been in process with our beta group. We're getting ready. We're super excited to launch it January with our new 2022 business plan. So it'll be available to our entire company shortly, but we worked out all of the kinks. It's ready to go. We're so excited.
Love it. Amy, how about you? Do you want to go through your approach with Johnson?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a similar approach to you, Allison, with what you do at Annie Mac. Primarily, we use Denim from a marketing standpoint to post to our brand pages. And for our advisors, we have taken the approach that we really want them to get into Denim and schedule their posts on their own. We just think that this empowers them to use Denim and to be engaged with their own social channels. But we do offer some help. So on a weekly basis, we are adding content to the libraries. And this is a range of content. We like to follow Denim's 411 approach. So we're adding those educational posts from our website, homegrown posts that include company news stories, and also third-party content through Up Content. And on top of that, we do encourage our advisors to create those personal posts on a weekly basis as well, just to keep it authentic and humanize their professional brand. One thing that we have done is we have started to post on their behalf for certain cases. So on a weekly basis, we have our investment commentary written by our CIO, and this includes economic updates, market updates, and we do post that on behalf of our wealth advisor Facebook pages. We also do post on their behalf if it's a company news story that will appeal to a wider audience. So for our 50th year anniversary as a company, we had a series of celebratory posts, and we helped our associates by posting on their behalf in that case as well.
I love that. Love the supplemental content from the company perspective, right? Amazing. How about you, Seth?
Yeah, so we have a mix, at least for our corporate brand page, we have a mix of social and educational content. We want to sort of put a face behind the brand with that social content, but then also provide some education, but really stay away from the more sales pitch kind of posts. We don't want to turn people off so they just think they're getting sold to. We actually want to provide some value with those educational posts. But then for our local teams, we encourage them to do go the educational route. We have a lot of LOs who are posting videos to their social media and other educational resources that they can just walk somebody through processes of mortgage. We also encourage a lot of local content. That's really why we don't like to post on behalf of our loan officers because we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and we have offices all over the country. We want people to be able to post for their market specifically, and we've started providing them with content in the content libraries and in the Up Content streams of regional content so they can find stuff that is relevant to their markets. We also provide them with holiday graphics and mortgage operations metrics graphics that they really love because they can show off how efficient our mortgage ops team is. And then also new hire announcements so that we can celebrate some of the new LOs that are coming on board.
Great. Love those ideas. Seth, since you're you're talking about, really empowering those LOs to drive their social strategy. And you really rely, your social selling strategy relies heavily on those teams to drive their own strategies, right? How do you communicate the value of social media and Denim Social to all of your users?
So we try to find our top users and the ones who are performing well on social media, and that may not be the most followers or the most likes. We try to look for things like the most engaged followers, so we can see the ones who are creating content, who are actually making a difference and providing some value to their end users. But then what we do with that is we also look at their sales numbers and find some of those hard metrics, because they are salespeople. And you can tell them all day long, this got, 100 likes, this many shares. They don't care about any of that. They want to see hard numbers, increase in sales, things like that. So we try to find those who are top users, correlate that with their sales numbers. And then we say, hey, this is what you can be having if you are using social media and finding that new market that is on social media. And then we also try to show the value of Denim Social, where they want to be selling and they don't want anything to get in the way of selling. And so we show them that with Denim Social, they can schedule beginning of the week, beginning of the month. You can go as long as you want out, schedule everything to post, and then you just let it sit, and you can engage with the post once they're posted. But you can do that, take a day, take maybe 2 days. Get all of your content posted or scheduled, and then get back to selling.
They'll set it and forget it, right?
Exactly.
We've got a lot of those top performing associates out there scheduling. I've seen from a few of your teams scheduling out through 2022, like October or maybe even Christmas 2022, because it's there. You can just set it and forget it, right?
Yeah, and we love that proactivity from our LOs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do too. It's awesome. So while you're talking about how you to communicate that value of social, can you also talk about how you tie that into your training efforts? Because you guys have a pretty solid training program.
Yeah, so we start out as soon as they come on board. We set them up with an onboarding training, and that's to go over all of our different marketing items, but we really hit hard on Denim. Really just kind of giving them a soft intro to the platform, so that way they can see the benefits that it provides to them. And then we also sign them up for a training, an internal training for social media beyond that. And so that way they have sort of an introduction for that training. But we go through all of our social media guidelines in that training, and then we walk them further through. At this point, we've got them set up in Denim so that they can walk through it alongside us. But at that point, we're showing them, how do you post, how do you find content? And then the last one is every month we have a monthly sales call, and we'll have one of our top performers come on and just sort of give, if they're doing something special with social media, or if they're using Denim and they're using it in an interesting way, we want them to come on and talk about it. That way it just sort of gets more and more ingrained that this is something that's very valuable to us and a part of our overall marketing strategy.
Awesome. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how you guys pull out those top performers here in a little bit. Before we get there, Allison, can you talk a little bit about your training program as well?
Sure. So similar to Seth, we walk our new users on all the way from onboarding to getting them connected in the platform. We have an internal required course that we require as well. But once that's set, we get them connected on Denim. We'll send them step-by-step instructions with graphics, with arrows, everything, just to make it as easy and simple as possible for them. So we also host monthly training sessions. We call them our Denim Refresh trainings. So we'll just cover some of the basics on how to use Denim, how to get that dashboard set up, how to connect your socials. But we also try and cover any recent updates that are inside the platform. So just so they know what's going on. If maybe they didn't see the email go out that we sent with the updates, they can just catch it right there on the training. We also send out all of these trainings as soon as they're finished. So we'll send the recording link, and then we'll add it to our company intranet. So We also will send any new testimonials that we've collected. But one thing that we like to do is also host any one-on-one trainings, because I'm sure every case is different with our users. So sometimes we'll work with like the marketing assistants, make sure that their user role is set up properly, make sure they understand the workflows. And we just want everyone to feel comfortable and make sure Denim is easy for them to use.
Yeah. That's the name of the game, right? Make it easy for them. And the easier it is, the more they're going to take advantage.
Exactly.
Yes. Cool. I'm going to put up a little poll. I want to know what you guys do out there. So I'm going to launch this poll. We're going to keep talking, but I would really love, you're going to see it pop up on your screen here. Do you guys have social and compliance trainings built into your new associate onboarding? Oh, yes and no, yes and no. Interesting. We find that this is a great way to just introduce all new associates to social media, your policy, and make sure that you're not going to have any compliance issues later on that you're going to have to tackle. So it's just great to implement into your just regular process. Awesome. Looks like the majority do, but some don't. And so for those that don't, we have resources to help. And of course, if you want to ask questions about how to roll that out, feel free to submit those during this webinar. We want to help you. We want to answer your questions. This is interactive. So if you're like, that's a good idea, maybe I want to implement that, we're here to help. Great. I'm going to end the poll. This is really interesting. Love it. Actually, I'm going to share the results. I'm new to this. Okay, you can see it pop up. So we've got about 3/4 that do have a process and maybe 1/4 that don't. So again, you have resources with us and these other people on the call, these experts, if you want to ask questions live. All righty, how do I get out? We're going to keep her moving. All right, did we skip one? Can you go, there you go. All right, and I'm on the wrong one now. Okay, so Amy, I don't want to leave you out because you also host some trainings. Can you just talk about your favorite way to get your users engaged and excited about social media?
Yes, so we host bi-monthly lunch and learns. And we have really recognized the value of our associates hearing from their peers, kind of like Seth was talking about. So it's one thing for associates to hear from the marketing team on the value of social media and Denim, but it's another thing for them to hear it from other social sellers. So in November, we hosted a lunch and learn with a panel of our Denim super users, where each associate talked about best practices that they use within Denim, tips and tricks, how they manage their time. And it was one of our most popular lunch and learns to date. And it was just a great way to garner more interest in our Denim Social program in general, because the participants actually shared the recorded training with some of their teams who aren't currently participating in Denim, and we received a lot more interest. So it was a win-win.
Mm-hmm. I love that. When people start talking and sharing with their friends, that's kind of the best way to get buy-in sometimes, right?
Exactly.
How about you, Seth? What's your favorite way to get your users engaged and build their professional brand?
Well, like I said earlier, we've had some of our top users on our sales calls, and we like to engage with our managers as well as our assistants in the local offices, who are also managing some of those local office pages, and they really help to walk through and sort of give ideas and really inspire the people at the local level. We've also started a digital marketing newsletter. And as part of that, we highlight some of the top, not top social users, but some of the coolest things that we've seen on social media recently, and really just sort of give them a shout out, just to give them some recognition and to not, just think that they're sending this off and it's going down a black hole, that we are noticing that their efforts and that they're doing a great job. And then I also just love to reach out every once in a while to a few of my LOs. If I see something that they're doing great, I'm just like, hey, I love this post, keep it up. We really love to see that. And I think that it really helps them to feel like they're not just, just throwing things at a wall and nothing sticking. So.
I love it. Something else that I just thought of when you said that you show some examples out there. We just saw, people always struggle with personal posts. So like showing examples of how people are doing professional personal posts out there to your user base oftentimes really gives them ideas like, oh, would have never thought of that. And then you'll see them do it like a week later. So sometimes that really helps too. Allison, how about you? How do you inspire engagement?
First off, I just love hearing like both of your ideas, and it's just so inspiring. And I definitely want to take some of those back to the team. But we do similar things. We also have collectively reached out to all of our branches and our teams and found maybe if it's not the marketing assistant, whoever is handling all of their social media. And we just called our branch marketing meeting. We meet on the third Thursday of every month. Sometimes people will bring a snack, but we'll just kind of talk about what's going on. We will recognize anybody that's kind of like doing outstanding work on social media, and we just bounce ideas off of each other. But I definitely think it helps to hear and have them hear from their peers instead of it always coming from marketing. I think it kind of sticks and it inspires them to try those ideas, or maybe if they're doing something in the community or say those personal posts, maybe they'll take it to their team or branch and say like, so-and-so did this, like maybe we could try it on social media.
I love that, just being able to bounce the ideas off of each other in a meeting, especially with snacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes it better.
Can't forget the snacks. Some other things, if you can see here on the slide, very common things that we see across our customer base is to get people engaged and wanting to share. You got to make sure you have a ton of content. Like each of these admins right here, they spend time pulling in company content and industry content to their content libraries so that their associates will feel like they're not posting the same thing as everybody else, like you said. Allison and Seth, I think both just talked about leveraging local teams to help create that content or share out on behalf of the associates. Again, how like using people as an example, using the top performers as an example is like super impactful way to get other people like, I gotta get in on it. They have the fear of missing out. And then another fun one that we've heard a few times recently is just making it a challenge. Who can get the most follower growth, or who can get the most content shared, or the best content mix. So there's a lot of ideas out there, and sometimes it's just fun to play around with trying to make it a competition. A lot of these salespeople are very competitive. Awesome. So introducing social via training for end users is really important, but it's also really important to make strong partnerships with your internal teams at HQ and introducing them to Denim Social and social media. So Amy, can you talk a little bit about your partnership with your compliance team?
Yeah, of course. So before even onboarding with Denim Social, we needed to forge a strong partnership with our compliance team and share the value and the why behind it, not just from a business and a marketing standpoint, but also from a compliance perspective. So how could we make things easier for them? And we understood that advisors are going to be on social media either way, and it's important for them to be out there, but we can either provide the tools for them to be successful, or they could potentially be a compliance risk. So this required a lot of upfront conversations and then a lot of preparation, beginning with our outdated social media policy. We did a complete overhaul to incorporate the Denim Social program. Next, we had to work with compliance to update our trigger terms for each line of business. And then, of course, work through those approval processes for when we add the content each week and understand what that would look like. And now we're in a really great rhythm with compliance, and we have built up that trust. So it makes it a lot easier when we have those future challenges. And one example I can think of, one challenge we came across was the addition of up content. So initially, our compliance team was a little bit concerned about adding that third-party content into our mix. But we did work with them to develop a simple solution, which is a disclosure that our advisors can use when posting third-party content. So now our advisors are happy because they get to share that content, and our compliance team is happy as well.
Awesome. Amy, while we're on the topic of compliance, how do you guys communicate your compliance guidelines? Just, any of you guys want to answer. How would you typically, what's your cadence for doing that?
Yeah, so we have a simple process. When a user onboards with Denim, we will direct them to our SharePoint site, which holds our recorded trainings, and those trainings do address our compliance workflows. And then we also ask them to read through our updated social policy out on SharePoint as well.
Awesome, thank you. Seth or Allison, do you guys do a similar process to that, or is it a little different?
Yeah, so we have a social media guidelines packet for all of our divisions, and several pages in each of those packets are devoted to compliance. And so when we start them off with the internal social media training, we go through that packet and spend a lot of time going through the compliance, what kind of disclosures they need, any logos that they need to include in their graphics, and then what they can and can't say, some of those trigger words. And then we send them that link. It's on our SharePoint page, so we send them the link so they have it, and we're updating it, and it updates in real time, so they always have the most up-to-date version of those packets. But then if there's any sort of issues that we have after that, we have what we call a compliance conversation with them, and reach out to them and just let them know that that we need to go in a different direction with whatever the error they made. And then we just keep documentation of that.
Awesome. Allison, is yours pretty similar?
Yeah, ours is pretty similar. We'll also send it out through email anytime we make an update to our compliance policy, but pretty similar.
Awesome. Cool. I'm going to keep her moving along. So I think this is a great resource. All of our admins have different processes for, how they're reaching out to their user base or what they're doing with their social media strategy. Amy, can you give us a little idea, like what's your cadence?
Sure. We have implemented several resources and training opportunities to encourage users to stay engaged. We know that everyone has a different learning style and different preferences, which is why we try to offer a variety. So as I mentioned earlier, on a weekly basis, we are updating those content library posts. Along with that, we send a weekly content digest via email. And this just serves as a reminder for our users to get into the system and schedule out their posts. And that email does include a reminder of our third-party required disclosure as well, just as an easy reference. Then on a monthly basis, we do offer those, or a bi-monthly basis, we offer our lunch and learns, completely optional. Another new thing that we've implemented is office hours. And this is something recently we've tried. It's very casual. Users can join a Microsoft Teams session and pop in with any questions they have, or maybe challenges, even suggestions that they have for Denim Social, and we'll walk with them through any issues they're having. And then on a yearly basis, we offer those refresher trainings for the entire group, and making sure our social assets are fresh and up to date. That's another thing we periodically do. And then of course, we are planning for the year ahead. So I love hearing from Seth and Allison their ideas because it's already giving me ideas of ways we can implement new initiatives for next year. On an ongoing basis, as I mentioned, we do update our SharePoint resources. One of these, we have a strong focus on LinkedIn, particularly for our commercial segment. So one thing we've provided to our users is fill in the blank LinkedIn summaries. And this is something our teams were asking for. It's just a really simple template that they can use to start creating their summary statements on LinkedIn and just build out their profiles a little bit more. And then finally, one other thing I'll mention is line of business ambassadors. And this is a new program that we're implementing. We're in the very early stages, but we are looking to different lines of business and training up individuals who could serve as someone who would post on that group's behalf. They would be someone who is very knowledgeable on Denim Social and kind of monitor engagement on that group's pages. But as I mentioned, we're in the very early stages of trying that.
Love that idea, empowering others to help drive social strategy and engagement. I also fill in the blank social summaries is so fun. Like that's something I've not heard of before, just offering them, make it easy for them. Like literally just have them fill in the blank with their information and you're giving them the majority of what they need right there. So it's a great idea. Allison and Seth, can you guys kind of like, as you look at this slide, what else would you guys toss in there? What do you guys do the same or different? Allison, we'll start with you.
I would say we do a lot of the similar things again. Same thing, like on a weekly basis. We'll send also like any company updates. Like if it's like a loan limit update, like we'll send that out to company sales and just say like, here it is, it's available on Denim. And we'll send like some caption ideas, hashtags, things like that if they wanted to customize the post, or we'll even add like some CTA options. But yeah, we follow this.
Love it.
Pretty much the same. I love the idea of office hours and I love the brand ambassador program. Those are great ideas.
Allison, can I ask you a question about the so the product updates that you send out? Those you're adding posts in your content library about the products, and then you send an email saying, hey, there was an update in this product, make sure you go check it out. Here's some more content ideas around that.
Yeah, so we send a monthly update at the beginning of each month and we'll say, hey, like this is the content that's been added to Denim. We'll highlight some of the like more interesting posts or infographics, but any product updates, we know they're time sensitive. People want to get them out there as soon as it's available. So we'll send an additional email and say like, here it is. Here's the captions, hashtags, CTAs that you can use just so they know it's there. And then we'll see all of the notifications from Denim come in. So we're happy to get that out there as soon as we have the copy and graphic created.
Awesome. I love that. Seth, how about you? Is there anything else that you guys do differently or that you want to call out as a extra item?
Yeah, one thing that I'll add is that we leverage the notifications on or the summary reports on Denim. And so we will select all of the mortgage pages to go out in the summary report, and then we will email that out to all of our mortgage teams. In this way, it's constantly a reminder of that we're using Denim Social, we're posting out on social, but also we're trying to see, if we can, inspire them with any of the posts from their peers that they see. And maybe if they're not using social media, if they're not using Denim, they can see this on social and they're like, oh, I want to go use that. And so we've seen a lot of copycatting from that. And, we want them to sort of use each other's posts just to get more engagement. But it's really helped and really inspiring. Some people's like, hey, I see that. I like that. I like what they're doing. I want to start using social and I want to start using Denim.
Love that. Great idea. So I want to go back to your process for pulling out some top performers and using them as examples. Can you tell us a little bit more in detail, like how you go about that process and then how you communicate that out?
Yeah, so we just look at the metrics for our social media, and really it's very easy to see when we get the notifications and we're seeing the same people over and over and over again posting and us to go approve it. And so, but we always want to check the metrics, and we want to check their sales numbers. We want to put people up there who are doing well both on social as well as selling. And so we'll start to pull those people out, and those could be some of our LOs, our assistants, anyone who, like I said, is just doing something interesting, something different with denim. And then we ask them to speak on our monthly calls. We also use them sort of as guinea pigs to test any new initiatives that we want to try out, like Instagram, creating videos for social media, those kinds of initiatives. We know that these people who are already active and engaged on their social media are going to be looking for the next thing. And so we use them to be the guinea pig and test out those new initiatives. And then if we find out it's a success or not, we like to have them go back and tell their peers in their office, put them on the sales calls so they can tell everybody company-wide that what they're doing is working, and this is how easy it is to do it. And so we really just want to find who are the top users and then just put them out there and put a spotlight on them.
I love that. Great. I think we can, so Allison, you have a similar process, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you like share your top performers' best practices and how you go about getting some information and getting them out there?
Yeah, so we do, we'll pick out our power users for denim and see how they're doing. I'll often reach out, kind of check in, let them know they're doing great. And then we'll ask for a testimonial. Sometimes we get huge testimonials, which I love because you can always pick out pieces from there and share it with the team. So we're always updating our SharePoint site with these testimonials, always sharing them with our teams and our refresher trainings. But I have to say my favorite is when we receive video testimonials without even asking, because I think that just is the proof behind it that our team needs to see. So they'll often share like what works for them and how they use it and how it's benefiting their team. For example, for one of our testimonials that we got, somebody mentioned just blocking off calendar time on Outlook to schedule their posts. And I hear that now that's what everybody does. They will pick Friday, they'll pick Monday morning, they pick Sunday nights, whatever works for them. And just because Tom Pickett from our team said it, now everybody does it. So, and I love that. So you got to find what works for you. But yes, we also did host a power user webinar in August, and it was our top attended webinar, and everybody loved it. So we have that available on our SharePoint too, but sometimes I'll just resend it out there to give everybody an idea of how these users are using denim.
I love that. I think, you know, even if they're saying something during like a sales call, or if you reach out to them, or however you can gather these little testimonials, and if they, you know, say, yeah, you can share that. I mean, that is like the most impactful thing that you can do for your users. Mm-hmm. I love that. So all three of these admins do a great job of like gathering testimonials and quotes in their top performers and using them as examples, which is a great best practice. All right, let's see here. So I think we have a few questions that I've seen, but I think I'm going to have you go to the next slide and then we'll answer questions at the end. So we're just going to wrap it up here. Like I said before, we'll send out a few resources so that you guys can get some more details on you know, some of the things that we talked about, like very specific things. But all in all, when it comes down to it, creating an effective social selling program really requires consistency. So make sure you're setting your users up for success by continuing to provide information and material for them to share. Keep it fresh, you know, whether it's ideas for posts, new posts in the content library, products, or even just sharing fresh content on their behalf, making sure they're informed, not only of the new posts and stuff like that, but just on the value of social media. consistent trainings, communications, resources, everything, every touch point matters. Make them even more impactful, as you saw today, with showing these top performers and using them as an example of a great best practice of things you can do. So I think that's what makes it the most impactful. And then, we have all of these ideas throughout the deck and in the resources we'll send after. So you can really pick out and choose what's going to work best for you and what you can just pop into your strategy that might make a big difference. We're just going to, I think there's a question slide next, and it's got my email on it if you guys want to reach out to me directly. I think we've got a glitch. There we go. So it's got my email, but I'm going to read off a few of the questions we've got. So I'm really putting you guys on the spot, okay? What's the biggest challenge that you guys have faced so far with social media today, and how have you overcome that? It's a free for all. Whoever wants to go for. Actually, no, I'm going to call Seth. You smiled a little.
All right. So I think our biggest challenge was just people not wanting to buy in and being very skeptical of using social media. And when we first started at the beginning of this year, trying to get people on board with managing their local office pages and then doing their own social media, we had several bad meetings where we could tell nobody was interested, and everybody just wanted to get off the call and get back to the work they had to do. But what really helped is we just kept trying with some of the managers. We finally found some managers who were on board with it. And even if their offices weren't on board, the managers would kind of, strong-handedly say, hey, this is something that you need to be doing. But then also we started reaching out to some of the assistants in the offices, the assistants and the processors who had the time to sort of take on some of the social media initiatives, whereas the salespeople weren't as likely to. But then they could take on the office page and then also help out the loan officers actually get started on their strategy and creating their pages and then actually posting to their pages.
Awesome. Allison, you're next on my screen. Do you have any big challenges you've had to overcome with social media?
I would have to agree with Seth, and I know for some people it's like taking on one other thing, and with social media they just think of like the time that it takes, and I think it's just, I always tell her, I was like, just take it one step at a time, like make a goal, post once a week, then once that's like a no-brainer, try twice a week, 3 times a week, and then suddenly they'll be posting 5 times a week, and then I see they have a whole video set up in their office. So definitely just making things a routine and staying consistent with it, I think, is our #1 struggle. But once they get the hang of it, I feel like they're like a whole different person on social media. Even watching from like some of our LOs when they started and onboarding saying, I will never have a Facebook. Now they're on Facebook and they're doing great. And I don't know, I think just being consistent and staying with it and being open to trying new things on social media will help them find success.
Mm-hmm. Love that. You got to be proud about those people that said they'd never have a Facebook and now they do.
Yes.
They've got the whole, like they've got the ring light and they've got probably, I don't know, is that the next big thing, the ring light, whatever.
I see them with like the ring light background, everything. I'm like, what? You told me you wouldn't have a Facebook.
It's just, rebranding their professional brand. It's awesome. Amy, how about you?
Yeah, I echo both Allison and Seth, everything they shared. I think whenever you bring on a new platform, there's always some resistance to it. Just because, like Allison said, it's one more thing to do in their eyes. It looks like it's not going to save them time, when in reality, once they get in there and see, oh, I can spend 15 minutes on a Monday scheduling out my posts for the entire month, they see that, oh, this is actually saving me time. So yeah, I echo both Seth and Allison, everything they just shared.
Awesome. Yeah. A huge value add, right? It's the scheduling out for them, having the content to schedule and then scheduling it out. Something, Allison, that you said a while ago and that you just said again, is, you know, we talk about the 411 strategy all the time. And if you don't know what that is, we'll have a link in our resource that we send out after the call. But 411 might be a little daunting for a lot of people. And something that Allison does in a lot of her trainings is say, if that's too much for you, start with 2 a week, start with 1 a week, and just kind of get the hang of it, just like you said. And then before you know it, they're going to have an office set up. I need an office set up, I think, but yeah, so, you know, the 411 is a great strategy. But if they're hesitant, you know, start small, grow big, get comfortable. Next question, what are you guys most excited about in 2022 for social media or for Denim Social? Allison, I'm going to start with you this time.
I'll go first. So starting off, I know for us, first week of January, we are super excited to launch the experience.com integration. That'll be our next refresher training. So I actually sent our first email out yesterday. Our team is so excited. So I'm excited to share that with them and just really launch our auto posting program as well. I'm really hoping it can help out and kind of take some of the stress off their shoulders and finding the time to post, and I think it'll be great.
Oh yes, I love that you said that. I'm really excited for that too. That's just in a few weeks.
I know.
Amazing. Amy, how about you?
Sure. Well, we have a lot of new users who are interested in the platform. So I think I'm most excited about that. Also, we have a lot of new ideas that we want to try out. So I think on an earlier slide, we talked about contests and challenges, just brainstorming on ideas and how associates can grow their following, for example, and getting managers and the entire team more involved. So those are a couple of things. And then also we really want to work on enhancing our media library, just adding more visual components and image selection for our associates. So that's another thing I'm excited about.
I love that idea. That's exciting. Yeah, because then, I mean, that helps them, you know, if they have a certain message they want to say or a personal post, then they have a visual that they can just pop right.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see how that goes. Amazing. Seth, how about you?
Yeah, so as far as for Denim, we're really excited because we just started receiving a lot of emails from loan officers who are finally, the wheels are starting to turn and they can see the benefits of using social media and using Denim. And so we've had a lot of people just sort of come out of the woodworks. Either they have an account and they haven't posted in a while, or they didn't want an account and now they're seeing their peers, they're seeing just anybody in the industry who's doing social media, and they're like, okay, I want to get in on this finally. For social media, Pinterest recently released their trends or their trend predictions for 2022, and one of the predictions was Finpowerment, which is all about taking over your finances and really managing them yourself. So that just sort of got my wheels turning as a financial services marketer, of all kind of content that we can create here in-house for corporate, and then also pushing that out to our local offices.
How fun. I think Allison and Amy have their wheels turning too. You got my wheels turning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Adding that to the list.
Yep.
Let's see. My last question is, what advice would you give to anyone that is either going to start a social selling program or is struggling to get it off the ground? What worked best for you guys, or what's your advice for those people out there? Amy, I'm going to start with you. Really put you on the spot.
Sure. I would say just take it a day at a time. It might sound cliche, but there are so many different steps. Like I was talking about with our compliance team, that's a whole initiative in itself, or updating our social media policy. So just try not to get overwhelmed with the initial upfront steps, because after the heavy lifting is done, then it's time to get into the fun stuff, like building out your content libraries and everything. So yeah, just take it a day at a time.
Sometimes easier said than done, but great advice. Allison, how about you?
I agree with Amy. Just take it one step at a time, take it slow. Sometimes too, I'll set like calendar reminders for like maybe like updates or updating the team. And I don't know, I think same thing I said earlier with our LOs, but like for admins too, just be consistent and stick with it and the results will come. So.
Yeah, totally. It takes a long, it takes a long time to get people on board sometimes, and takes, you know, people are like, oh, it'll just be easy to roll out right away. But you know, LOs and sometimes people in financial services can be a little stubborn. So just getting them up and running sometimes takes time and consistency. Seth, how about you? Best piece of advice?
Yeah, I mean, just to echo Allison there, just don't give up. You know, when we first started this at the beginning of the year, we had no users except for myself and my manager, and none of the local offices were managing their own social media. Now we have almost 100 users who are actively engaged with their social media. And there were several times, like I mentioned earlier, with the calls that just didn't go well, and no one was really buying into it. If we had just quit like we wanted to back then and just said, well, you know, they can go do whatever they want to do, and we'll just be here, then we wouldn't have the program that we have now. So just keep going through it. Eventually, you're going to find the right person. If it's not working, then that just means you haven't found the right person yet.
I love it. Amazing advice. And all three of these admins are working with, I would say, hundreds of users. So they've got pretty large programs, and you know, they've built that up through the consistent effort. So they have spent the last at least year or more building out this program for hundreds of users. So listen to everything they're saying, because they've been successful, and consistency is key, and don't give up. I love it. Any parting words, you guys? Anything else that you want to knowledge drop on us before we hop off?
No, just thank you so much for having us. It was fun.
It was our pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. We definitely learned a lot too. So we're all learning here on today's webinar. We're
going to constantly learn. I love the conversation that was had. Thank you guys again so much. Bravo, you're amazing. Again, if anybody on the call has questions, there's my email. And we're going to send out some resources in the next day or two so that you can reference those. And there's a blog coming out in a few weeks too. So more to come. And you guys, if we don't talk to all of you before the holidays and before people start going on vacation, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. Whatever holiday you celebrate, happy holidays. Enjoy your Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor.
Bye.